Hello and welcome to Tommy Surfs. I'm Tommy and this video is about speed generation. But before we begin, I have to mention that this video is aimed to help intermediate surfers. Surfers that know how to consistently get up and go down the line on an open-faced wave. Now there are some points that I'm going to make that probably can help beginners, so I would say watch. And who knows, maybe you're actually an intermediate surfer and you're just not giving yourself enough credit. So before we begin, let's cover some basics. There are three places that I feel you can source speed. First is wave energy, then gravity, and then lastly resistance or force, and that's the force that you apply against your fins and board. So I'm going to touch on pretty much all of these 3 points, but focus probably on the third, which was resistance and force. But wave energy, we're all familiar with wave energy, and as you can see here, there's no steepness to the wave, but I harnessed right where the wave was breaking, and that's what pushed me into the wave. So wave energy is the force that travels laterally, and a lot of us are familiar with this because when we first started, we all learned to ride the whitewash, right? Like the wave broke, and then that force pushed us towards shore, and that's how we started. Oh, and it does help if you have a bigger board to harness wave energy because your paddle speed can match it much quicker. The number 2 point of source is gravity. And gravity is super important because it's probably the easiest place to get wave speed. Always try to surf the highest part of the wave, the most vertical section of the wave, which is up towards the top. So on a lot of the waves I'm surfing here, you'll notice that even though they're small, I'm going to the top of the wave and coming down. That's gravity right there. And then I'm using resistance and force on my fins to push myself back up to the top of the wave. And then I compress, go down, and I extend, and that's how I just consistently build speed and maintain speed down the line. So now as an intermediate surfer, the first two things I would say that you need to work on are pumping up and down and tick-tacking. Now by pumping, I don't mean pumping a wave. Like what I want you to do is what is basically just pumping through flat sections. Okay, they call it the Huntington hop, but it's very important because there's a function to this, which is water has physical properties that want to stick to your board, and by pumping you're engaging the back half of your board where the rails are harder. You're allowing the water to release off the front and leveraging that back half. Now with pumping, you don't want to just pump your front leg. If you notice me, it's kind of a rhythm. It's almost like an undulating where the nose dips first and then you engage the tail, and it kind of does a wave motion. Okay, this is important because this is actually the first step for you to learn the feeling of what pumping is. Therefore later on when you start vertical pumping waves, you'll already have the rhythm. Okay, you can't just go into it. You literally have to learn how to crawl, walk, and then run. Okay, so this up and down pumping is crawling. The second thing you can do to help, and it's at the same time, is tick-tacking. Tick-tacking, all it is pumping with a side-to-side motion. And a very good exercise for this is on a skateboard and not on a surf skate. It has to be a regular skateboard with fixed trucks. Okay, the stiffer trucks. You want to start at a dead stop and just tick-tack. And you should be able to generate your own speed tick-tacking. Okay. The carver boards, the surf skates, they're great for learning how to carve, exercise your legs, that kind of stuff, and try to get like weight distribution. But I will say when I started, tick-tacking on a skateboard felt the closest to tick-tacking on a surfboard. And in fact, I started to feel my fins and feel the resistance on them when I started to do that. So as an example, I tend to pump when the wave's too flat to do anything. And that gives me a little bit of speed. And as the wave starts to get a little bit of steepness, then I start tick-tacking. So I just go tick-tack left to right. But you see the motion, it's still a rhythmic left to right. And that's tick-tacking. When you do it on a skateboard, you start to learn that rhythm. On a surfboard, there is a short stroke and a long stroke. And the short stroke is when you're at the top of the wave and you're pointing the board down. And you're still slapping kind of the board, and you're leveraging your fins, the bottom of your board. And then the long stroke is the bottom turn portion. if you look at any pro that's working through a flat section, you'll notice that exact rhythm. It's literally like a tap, compression to extension, tap, compression to extension, because when you're at the top, you want to leverage the gravity to go down the wave. So it really doesn't require much other than point your board down. And then when you're at the bottom, you do have to compress and extend to build pressure. One really cool footage I found online was this guy here in Japan. He's on a really big board, but he does exactly the perfect tic-tacking. So which is, he taps the top, and you'll see him point the board down and use gravity, and as he comes off the bottom, kind of takes a longer stroke, tap. So it's tic-tacking, but he's doing it on probably like a 7-foot board, which is amazing. It is definitely easier on a shorter board, but not impossible on a big board. So the last few points I want to touch on is compression, extension, and unweighting. All right. You'll see me here, I'm compressed, and I'll extend by kind of kicking my back leg out, and then at the same time I was unweighting by throwing my upper body and arms up in the air, and you'll kind of see it. Someone who does it drastically and is visible is Felipe Toledo. So watch him surfing, and I did it there to see if I can get as much lift as possible. And what that does is you're helping the board get to the top of the wave, and once you're to the top of the wave, you can start leveraging gravity. And I had plenty of speed and gravity here to get to the flats, do a pretty clean bottom turn to top turn. I probably could have gotten more speed, but I was really concerned about this guy, and I wasn't 100% sure what he was going to do, so I had to keep my eye on him. And here's another example. As soon as I'm up, I see me kick with that back leg. So it's kind of both legs, but more your back leg, okay? And that is to get the board up the face of the wave. So I kick up to get a little bit higher on the wave. Now I'm at the upper half of the wave. I use gravity to pump down. So one thing I do want to mention is that even if your wave is over, try to do your last bottom turn, like right here. This wave's over, but I'm gonna pretty much do my last bottom turn and kick out, and get as much practice as you can on that. And once again, you'll see me here. I'll throw my arms up, kick out my back leg, extend, throw my arms up to unweight, and now I'll do it again. But at this point, I'm at the top of the wave, and I can get enough speed to work my way down to the flats to do more of a, I wouldn't call it vertical, but you can approach it a little bit more direct, right? Instead of like down the line, and you can get like an off the lip. Now you'll notice that the wave is pretty much over, okay? But here's something that you guys should consider is don't let a good wave go to waste. Still do the bottom turn, do a whitewater off the lip, or even to jump over off the wave. Do that last bottom turn so you get as much practice in as possible. So now here's Tom Curran demonstrating the compression, extension, and unweighting by throwing your arms up. Now again, you're not throwing your arms up like someone's pointing a gun at you on a hold up. You're keeping your shoulders tight, and you're throwing your arms up, and you're gonna make sure that your upper body follows your arms, okay? So they shouldn't really have to go over your head. So anytime you put your board on rail or turn the board, you're using resistance and force against the fins and board to generate speed. Now this last thing I want to show you is the rhythm of tic-tacking on a wave. You can duplicate that on a regular skateboard. So here I am doing the tic-tacs again, but this time, unlike the first tic-tacking demonstration, is you'll see me compress on the bottom turn, the toe side turn. And then I'll tap on the heel side turn and compress on the toe side turn. So this is the rhythm, and it feels exactly like tic-tacking on a wave. So practice that on a regular skate. One thing that people don't realize about the surf skates is they're actually kind of easy. My daughter, who doesn't know how to surf at all, just knows how to get up and go down the line, can actually surf skate and looks pretty good on it. But she doesn't know how to tic-tac. And I think it takes a little bit more skill. So if you practice tic-tacking and you develop that skill there, I promise it will translate to surfing. So like, subscribe, and comment below, and definitely let me know how this goes, because I would love to see your progress and get some feedback on that. All right, and I'll try to put some more videos out, and I apologize, getting a little busy with work.